So I'd like to give a massive warm welcome to my dear friend, Toby.
Thank you so much, Carl. That's so kind of you. I've got to say, Carl is amazing. You know, I'm always admiring Carl. He's so good at talking and keeping the thing going. Pete is the guy that, you know, founded the Sovereign Project. So you can think of him as the head, the brain. But I would say Carl is the heart of the project. So he probably doesn't hear it enough, but thanks, Carl. So what I want to talk about is something different. This is technology. But, okay, it's not a sales pitch. You know, people switch off when they talk about technology. This is actually something very new and extremely good news. So really what I'm telling you is some extremely exciting good news. This is something new we have not seen before, and it's got some incredible potentials. So let's put it this way. Technology usually means you've got to buy something. Yes, okay. But the end result of this technology will be something free. It really is for us, the people, for a better word. So the end result is something like, we would have a smartphone. Imagine a smartphone, completely private, no contract, and free. Free calls, free internet. So that's the end goal. Who wouldn't want that? So the end result is something free. All you've got to do is buy the phone. But like I said, this is not a sales pitch. I'm not asking for any money. I just want to share the good news of what we can now do. So the project is called ENTIFY, and I've been working on this for maybe 3 years. It's myself and the inventor, a young guy called Nicholas, extremely clever guy, and he's invented, there's 3 things to this project, which I'll tell you about. But ultimately, I'm calling this freedom technology. It's a private, decentralized ecosystem with offline access card. Okay, it's a bit of a mouthful. When we say ecosystem, usually that means blockchain. And yes, we're using blockchain, but it's more than just blockchain. 2 other things together with it. And it will not be blockchain like we've ever seen before either, something new. Now, again, so a new paradigm for communication, security, and sovereignty. So it's a totally new thing. Communication can be free and unstoppable, so there's no way of shutting it down, that's the first thing. Security and sovereignty means there's no way of any centralized control system taking this over. We all will have the power in our own hand, only we can control it. We'll come to that. So, the challenge of centralized systems. Now, you all, I expect, have seen The Matrix, the movie, the first one. Yeah, anyone not seen that? I doubt it. Everyone here is bound to have seen that. But in The Matrix, the movie, there's a scene where they say, we tried to create a world for you. So they create this artificial world, they all live in it. And we created this perfect world, but it didn't work. You know, everyone was too happy, so the world fell apart. They had to create a world that was a struggle. So we all have to struggle to a certain amount, and then it worked. We got hooked on the struggle, and that's how they controlled us. That's essentially what we've got now, a world where we have to struggle, we're in poverty, we've got to pay our bills, but they have to balance it just nicely. So we feel free, we're sort of happy, but we're struggling at the same time. We've got to balance this just right to keep us all going. So this is the control mechanism we're under. And there's really two sides to this control mechanism. One is what Carl is telling us about. They're using language, so-called law, legal, but it's really just a manipulation. They're just deceiving us. The whole thing is a sort of an illusion. You know, we're using words that we don't know what they mean, so we sign things. See, for example, they cannot force us to do anything. They cannot say, you are slaves. But what they can say is, would you like to be a slave? And then we say, oh yes. But because they won't ask you that, what they say is, you know, would you like to be a citizen of the United Kingdom? Oh yes. But that means, would you like to be a slave? So the first thing is this, you know, language manipulation. The second way they can do this is technology. So this is the big one, because technology doesn't require, you know, law. It doesn't even have to be enforced. We know we've got these digital IDs coming, but really, does it have to be, you know, the state doing this? It'd be the airline. The airline will say, no, you can't fly with us without the ID. Nothing to do with the state. We've seen in Vietnam, I think nearly 1 million accounts, bank accounts closed down, suspended because they wouldn't do the digital ID. So they've got 30 days to comply or they lose all their money. So again, you can say, well, that's not the government, that's the bank. Well, really everything is the bank. And the whole thing is corporate and it all boils back down to the money. So centralized systems. Centralized systems is technology, and now we've got government mixed with technology, so it's very powerful centralized systems. So they monitor, they manage, and they monetize us. It's not only, of course, the state, it's all the big corporations. We know, they know all our data. Everything is being collected, harvested, and they use that, again, to make money off our backs. So we don't even realize this, what most of us here do. Now, digital IDs and the CBDCs are insecure and open to corruption. So the first thing is, okay, they're building this new technology to control us. They really already have it. They know everything about us, already. It's all digitized already. But they just need the final thing. They just want to put the whole puzzle together, and then they will have, a very nice, efficient ant farm. We're all the ants running around, and they can control us nice and easy. But the trouble is, even the technology they're using is not very good. So, it's easily hackable. Besides the fact of the corruption and the dystopian problems we're going to have, it's just not good technology. But they don't seem to be worried about that. Again, they're selling it us on security, but they don't really care about security. They don't mind fraud. Everything is another chance to make more money. If there's fraud, there's insurance, more money. So privacy is gone, and one switch can silence entire networks. Again, this is the problem with centralized systems. Even the internet itself, there's only a couple of places, 2 or 3 places in the world where you could literally cut the wires and the internet will go down. It's quite fallible. And privacy now, there is no privacy. If you think about it, without privacy, there is no freedom. There's no freedom. You have to have freedom, I've got to have a bit of space, a dominion. If they're in the space, even in our mental space, we've got no privacy, there is no freedom, it's gone. So privacy is key to getting back the freedom. So no matter what the legal system is doing, technology is coming in. Technology has taken away our privacy. What can we do about it? Now, the only way of dealing with technology is with more technology. We have to do something different. And like I said, this is a new thing. We have not seen this before, but we have got a very simple, brilliant solution to this. And finally, the final problem is fiat money. So fiat collapses and crypto remains unstable. So again, we're talking about blockchain, that means cryptocurrency. But if you look at it now, really the bank has hijacked everything. It's all just a bank. So even crypto has become like the stock exchange. People are trading crypto, but why? They're trying to increase their dollars, increase their pounds. So it's all gone back to fiat, which goes back to the bank. So the bank doesn't mind that. Really, to start a new financial system, we've got to start from scratch, build it from something real. And there's a very simple way I can explain money to you again. Carl went into it, but this is so simple. I mean, you guys might know, but say I ask someone on the street, you say, well, where does the bank get its money from? So if I ask you, where does the bank get its money from? Well, most people will say, well, we deposit our money in the bank. So now the bank's got some money and it does some investments. But then where did we get the money from in the first place? Well, the bank had to create the money. Okay, so the bank created the money and then it gave the money to us. Well, did it give the money to us or did it lend it to us? It lent it to us. So the bank created some money, lent it to us, then I deposit it back in the bank and call that a savings account. So is that a savings account, or is that the same money that the bank lent me that I owe it in the first place? Of course it's the same money, but we don't see that. Now the next level, of course, then you might say, well, okay, there's another big problem with money. Two main problems. One is, what is the foundation? What is the money created from, in the old days, money was created from gold. So if you had real gold, you could create some money and from that gold. A certain amount of gold allows you to create some money. Now we don't have gold. So what is the money created on the back of?
Debt.
It's created on the back of debt. Well, it's actually credit. You know, Carl was saying that we are the creditor and the debtor, so they're playing a trick with us. But the second problem with money is interest. So this is a big one. So let me ask you another question. Yeah. Oh, someone say no. Let me ask you another question. So when you go to the bank, you ask for a loan. So the bank will give you the money, but then you have to repay that money with interest. So the question is, does the bank create that interest or not? The only way I could describe it is if imagine you're the first person going to the bank. There's no money yet. So you go to the bank and say, I need 100,000. And the bank creates that for you. So that's the first $100,000 and it lends it to you. And then it says, well, now you've got to pay me back 150,000. But then you say, well, hang on a second, I've only got 100,000, that's all the money in existence. Yeah, so where do I get the 50,000 extra from to pay you back? It's not created, I haven't created that. So then you think, okay, and the bank will say, well, don't worry, we'll create that 50,000 for you. So that'll be another loan. But when you pay that 50,000 back, you're gonna have to pay interest on that. So that would be, say, 75,000, another 25,000, but they don't create that. So where do I get the extra 25,000? Don't worry, we'll create another loan for you, you pay that back with interest. So interest is the way that they hook us. Once you've got money created by the bank and they charge you interest, that's it. There's no way out of the bank. So interest is really where money has gone wrong. And this goes back a long way. Who is this guy now? I've forgotten his name. One of the old philosophers, Plato or Socrates, one of these guys. So even they were saying the reason we don't like the bankers, we hate the bankers because they earn money unnaturally. They don't have to do anything and they create money. Now that's not fair. Money has to be connected to work or connected to gold. If you have a lump of gold, there's no interest on it. You can't just put your gold in storage, come back 5 years and it's grown to a bigger pile. Nothing would have happened to it. But paper notes backed by gold, now they're not real, so you can have interest. So this is where the big problem lies. So if we need a new financial system, I would say you cannot have interest. We've got to change this. And it's got to be backed by something real, i.e. gold or any real asset. So I'll come to that. So these are the main problems that we can fix with this system. Now, so the ENTIFY system, what are we offering? What have we created here? Now, it's a big thing, so I'm trying to make this very, very simple, but ultimately, when this system works, we will have watertight protection of privacy, ownership, and value of all assets against fiat collapse and the digital globalization. So this is, again, the big trouble. They know that fiat currency is collapsing. The more they create, the more it devalues, and you've got this interest which goes on and on forever. So the economy is really all of us fighting each other to try and get this interest that doesn't exist. If you think about it now, all the world is loans from the bank and everyone owes the loan back plus interest, but the interest does not exist. So there's more money we're chasing that doesn't even exist yet. So how do we get it? We all have to fight amongst each other. So if we're all working here, I've got to pay my interest, I've got to get the money from you guys. Now that means I might win, but the majority of you will lose. So it's a system that majority of us will always lose. Only a few winners if you beat the game. So this is a system that allows us to maintain our integrity and the value of everything we've got. And it allows us to prove ownership. Again, that's what Carl was talking about. Because we've registered things, we no longer own them. So we need a method of proving our ownership and proving ourselves. So we'll come to that. So ENTIFY, so here again, here's the vision. Now, it's a big vision. I'm going to tell you the whole vision, what we could do with this, and at the end I'm going to tell you how close we are. Actually, we're very close to having something quite soon that is an approximation of this. This is a big vision, take a bit of time, but once you can see the potential, you'll see how close we are. So ENTIFY, you can think of this as an operating system for a free world. It's going to be a parallel ecosystem where control returns to the individual. So it means in reality, we've got the bank, the digital IDs, the state, they've got their birth certificates, they're playing with that, the corporations. But on the side, we can also have a separate network which we build up ourselves, that is this ecosystem. Now, in time, we may build this one up so it gets so strong that actually it will overtake. Because when everyone sees what we can do, it's a much better system. They'll want to join us. So if that happens, then there'll be a crossover period. And that's going to be very, very interesting. And, okay, the technology, okay, this is a big claim, and it's going to take me a long time to really explain why this is true. But it is a perfect solution. Okay, the whole thing is private and secure, and I mean totally private and secure, fully decentralized. Now, decentralized is important because it's the only way to guarantee that, oh, here we go. It's the only way to guarantee that we have the power. Decentralized means every single individual has got the power. We all have to come together. Centralized means a small group controls everyone. Decentralization, that is the whole purpose of blockchain. When Bitcoin started, that was the promise. Wow, we got a chance for fair money. It's decentralized, no one can cheat. Yeah, it's nearly, but not quite there, you see. There's so many problems with it. It cannot be, no blockchain yet has become perfectly decentralized. If you look at Bitcoin, again, you need mining, you need centralized servers. So that is a small location. If you shut down big mining areas, computers, the whole thing crumbles. So how do we get perfect decentralization? Well, only now we can do this because of the new technology we've got. Oops. Furthermore, infinitely scalable. Again, this is another problem with blockchain. It requires so much computation that how are you going to run the whole world's economy? There's not enough computing power. We can do a certain amount locally, but to all the transactions of credit cards that are going on, we need millions of transactions per second to really have an alternative system that could go global. And no blockchain has got that yet. So now we've got maybe 20,000, 30,000 different blockchains, so many. So you could say the whole crypto space as a collective could take over the world, but not really, because the banks have now hijacked it. It's now got to be connected to the dollar, and then the banks monitor the whole thing. But infinitely scalable, this system allows us to do this. Essentially, we're fulfilling the promise that Bitcoin started, but has not yet been able to do. Next one, okay, this is interesting. Impossible to shut down. Again, it's the Holy Grail. People have been trying to do this for a long time. Any network, like I said, centralized network, the mobile phones, there's a few central locations. If it goes down, all your phones are gone. How can we have a system that you hold your phone and there's no way of it ever going down? So imagine you've got free calls forever on a network that never goes down wherever you go. It's quite incredible. So really, we could say ENTIFY is the blueprint for digital independence. And this is where, again, I have the biggest problem, because people think this is just the same beast system, oh, we're just doing it again. And there are many projects like this, similar, but not quite. So I can understand why people are skeptical of this. But hopefully I'll talk you through it and you'll see. So now here's the technology. All right, now this is where it gets interesting. There's three main pillars of the technology that we can use to create this system. First of all is the unstoppable network. So that is in itself the communications network. That is hardware, infrastructure. Second is we have the unhackable key. Essentially, we're all going to have a key that we hold, but this is perfect security, unhackable. Again, that's a bold claim, and I'll show you why that is in time. And thirdly, the proofless blockchain. So yes, we need blockchain. Nothing wrong with blockchain, But blockchain as we've got now, there's two main types. You have centralized blockchain, so that's what the state is trying to do. They'll have a blockchain, but it's centralized, so they in a central location can access all of our wallets, all of our identity, do whatever they like. And blockchain, it has this thing called proof. So for example, Bitcoin has proof of work. It's a lot of calculations that have got to be done by the computer, to create trust. So we don't need that. We can create a whole new type of blockchain. Does not exist yet. We have not built this yet, but we have all the pieces to build this. So if we can create this proofless blockchain, that is the holy grail, change the whole crypto space. So together, these three pillars form the unbreakable foundation of the ENTIFY world. It's the only way I can describe it. It's a whole ecosystem, a world, because we can do so much with this. But simplest way of thinking about it, yeah, we've got a smartphone with free calls. Right, so let's go one by one. The unstoppable network. So this is communication without control. A military-grade radio mesh network connects users directly phone to phone, no reliance on state infrastructure. A radio mesh is essentially like walkie-talkies. You all know or CB radio. Do you know CB radio? In the old days we had that, until I think they banned it because it's free. You just got your units, you know, you say anyone there over, and someone else has got one, yeah, over. Now the only thing with CB radio and walkie-talkies is you have to press the button. So you will say, yeah, over, and you've got to let go, and the other one's got to press the button. So it's one way only. So we've developed a system, radio mesh is two directional radio signals simultaneously. So to all intents and purposes, it will just be like talking on your smartphone, but it'll be on the radio mesh. Radio mesh is unstoppable because every single phone is both the broadcaster and the receiver. So the more phones you have, the bigger the network is. Once you've got, I don't know, 10,000 phones, 1 million phones going around, now you've got a network. How do you stop the network? You can't stop it. If there's two phones, you've got a network. So they'll have to say, you know, declare the phone illegal, and then go around door to door, confiscate everyone's phone, but we won't give it to them. So it's unstoppable network. There's nothing you can do to shut it down. Now there are several people building radio meshes. We're not the only one, but my guy Nicholas, the inventor, he's taken things to the next level. One day I'm planning to do a proper interview with him so you can see what he's got to say about it. But he's the only one that we can say military grade. It's the level of privacy, security and encryption, the speed and functionality of it. So like I said, to all intents and purposes, we'll just have a smartphone. We won't know the difference, but it'll be radio mesh, free, phone to phone, no infrastructure required. Now, okay, next thing. This is the unhackable key. Now this is the real secret sauce. This is the real special thing. I think it's when I move, it's right. So people saying that, maybe I'll get near there, I'll stay here. So the unhackable key. This is again a new level of cryptography. Essentially what we have is this card. So this is called the ENTIFY NFT card. It keeps your private key offline, touch to connect your identity and your wallet. Essentially in blockchain, you have a thing called a wallet. It's online. So you have a special key that allows you to get in there, control your money, whatever. But it's all on the system. You know, you have to remember the key, get into the system. This way, you take it offline. So this card is a physical thing, like a credit card you hold, but only you can access it. Your key is essentially on the card. It's not on the network. So there's no way of hacking this. The key is literally generated on the card. It's a little computer in the card. So you have it, you control the card, it's connected to this one and only card. So for you to access your money, your wallet, you will need this card. You touch it to your phone or touch it to your computer to get in. It's literally a physical key that you hold in your hand. How do you hack it? There's no way of hacking it. And again, the cryptography, there's a link between this card and the blockchain. The level of cryptography we're using is called post-quantum. This is where this guy Nicholas is so clever. Post-quantum means even a quantum computer could not hack it. But it still means you'd have to steal the card, you'd have to get the card, and the card is close range, so you have to get, right, like a credit card, you don't touch it. So you can't scan it from a distance anyway. So even if you could get in and get the frequency, there's no way of actually getting the private key. You cannot clone the card, you can't have think you might clone it, because the private key is connected to the actual card. It won't work on another card. If you get another card, it will generate another private key. It's literally an unhackable key. And we've spent 3 years going around every single eventuality to realise, yes, this is watertight.
What makes this different to a cold wallet?
It's a cold wallet, exactly a cold wallet, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's exactly a cold wallet. When we release this card, essentially the first level of this will be, but it will be the most private, secure cold wallet so far. It's better than Ledger.
So
you still haven't,
this
sorry.
has all your private keys on it?
Yes, well, it's private key to one NFT. So this is where it's clever. The NFT is a unique item on the blockchain. This is your key to connect to your one and only NFT. So you can use that now. You can use that now to access your wallet. Ownership, ultimately you'll be able to own things as an asset on this wallet, but you have the key, no one can get in, it's unhackable. Let's go to the next one.
Could you be held by somebody physically?
Yes.
And robbed?
Yeah, no, we've been through all that eventualities. Okay, the card, let's go back one step, sorry. Okay, let's tell you that. Too far. Yeah, okay, so the card, you will also have a code, passcode to the card. So you will know the code. It's still two-factor authentication. So even say someone holds you at ransom, they've got your card, they've got your key, and they'll need both your phone and your card, two things you'll need. So then they'll have to get you to touch your card and send the money over. But you could still for example, have layers of security. You could have a code that you give them that gives them, all right, you can have £1,000. But you don't know if you put the second code, it takes you to all your assets, another £1 million. They don't know it exists. You could also divide this card. Again, if you have 3, for example, if you want very high level security, you can say, well, no, I need 3 cards. I've got the one, but where's the other card? Oh, well, that's in America. I have to go and get it. You could do things like this. But the real special thing about this is because it's in the network, even if someone were to steal it, it stays within the network, and and as soon as it's reported, we know exactly who stole it. You can't take it out of the network. We'll come to that in a minute.
Do you have any kind of insurance? Like, let's just say you had like 50 grand taken out of there,
Yeah.
and then you was backed up by a bank like FSC for 80
Well,
grand.
yeah.
Would you be covered, or is it blockchain as in crypto? If it goes, it's gone.
Well, again, now we're going skipping a bit ahead, because the real way we should have this is it does not come off the network. So, for example, we have the money on this network only. What we're talking about is an asset, like a car. I'm going to talk about a car in a minute. If you see the car, you'll understand how it works. Let me come to it. I'll come back to that. Now, once you've got this, okay, let's assume, besides all the questions, let's assume we've got this, an unhackable key that connects to an NFT, and that's unique, only you can access this. What do you put on this? Well, on this, you can have a proof of life. So this is trust restored to the digital world. Every user is a real individual. Now this means straight away there's no bots, no fakes, no scams. Because if you want to have an account, on the communications network, you have to have a card. That's the big trouble now, fake identities, fake accounts, bots, AI. You can do whatever you like. There's no way of having a fake account because you have to have the card. It puts that all out of the picture. So only a real living man or woman can hold a card, touch it to the screen. It guarantees you are a real living being. You're not AI. And essentially the blockchain is proven. The blockchain we'll build eventually will be open sourced, so everyone can see what it is, and that will be essentially mathematical proof of authenticity. Okay, this is a big deal because the identities they're building for us, they're not really anything. They're quite useless. They don't prove anything. They're not really an identity. They won't even hold up in law. They're using them against us in law. But if you examine what that identity is, it's virtually meaningless. What we could have on here is a real lawful document. You actually could create your affidavit, proof of life, which Carl I think is going to talk about later. So that is an actual lawful document with a signature. You can have witnesses of this, and that will go on the NFT, which essentially is on your card. So your signature, a lawful signature, witnessed, you could even, for example, film it. There'll be ways of verifying this. If you film the signature, that goes onto the NFT, is dated and proven you did this with witnesses. Now, on this card, you actually have got a real identity. It holds up in law anywhere, and it's better than anything they're trying to create for us. And this is ultimately the way we get out of the system. Because the way I see this, what Carl is telling us, is we have to learn an awful lot. We have to understand the game that's being played, and then we have to play the game to beat the system to get out. The whole thing is a sort of an illusion, but we just don't understand it. Even the debt, the money we're in, we think we're in debt and we're struggling. No, we're not in debt. It's an illusion, but we cannot see through the illusion, and we can't see what to do to break the illusion so they don't just put us in prison. Well, this is one way that we can do it straight away. So even a newcomer, essentially just by setting up this card correctly, immediately will have a lawful document, more powerful than anything else that they've got, and it's perfectly mathematically authentic. So there's no court that could disprove this. And in the long term, if we can actually get this, they have to acknowledge, yes, this card is proof of life. Now that card could be used for anything. That could be your passport. They have to acknowledge it. It's more powerful than the ID they're creating for us. And it's unhackable. So no one can fake this. But really they won't like it because they can't control it. That's the problem we've got. Now here, okay, next level, this is the proofless blockchain. Now because we've got this card that proves we are alive, it's proof of life. That means every user on the network, we already know that we can trust them because we've got this system. There's no fake accounts, and in fact you will see no criminals will even want to join this system, is what I was going to say to you. Because the system is so watertight, you can't commit a fraud, you can't even steal anything on the system. No criminal will want to join. The state won't like it because they like, I'm sorry, they're criminals. They're doing everything, they're actually breaking the law on us. And we just don't realise it. So they won't like it. No criminal, no big corporation will join. Because the big corporations could do what they like, poison us, whatever they want to do, because no one person has put their name to it. It's a limited company, they've got limited liability, I don't care. I mean, look at the things they did, give us all the, whatever they gave us. If one person put their name to it, yeah, that's safe and effective, that one person will be in trouble. No one person put their name to it, done by corporations. If you join this system, you have to have a card. That's a real name, a real living person, and it will all come back to you. So if you commit some crime, it will come back to you. Remember, it's private, no one can see into your card, but the blockchain will know, and we can all initiate a complaint, and it will go back to whoever did it. No criminal will want to join. But because we've got this trust, it allows us to go back to the drawing board and create a new blockchain. Blockchain is this system that creates trust in the users to create this sort of money, artificial money, like gold. Bitcoin was related to gold, you've got to do mining. But all that is calculations to create trust and belief, faith in the money. Well, we don't need that because we've got faith in each other, trust in each other. We can create a very basic blockchain. So simple, it's just keeping track of every card and what's on it. So we don't need mining, we don't need proof of work, proof of stake. In fact, we don't even need fees. This will be free. Again, this will be the first completely free blockchain, no fees. Don't need them. It's just another calculation that wastes computer space. And because we can make this blockchain so lightweight, we'll be able to actually have the blockchain on your phone. So small, every single phone could have a backup of the whole blockchain. Now that is called total decentralization. That's the big trouble with blockchain. It's centralized. Some big computer has to have the backup. And it's like, 300 gigabytes for Bitcoin. No one's going to have that backup. But we can all have a backup on our phone of everything. That is perfect decentralization. As long as there's two phones in existence, everything is always there. So that is the third pillar. That's the technology. That's the technology. All right, now it gets interesting. We can have unstealable assets. So this is digital meets physical. Because we've got this method of creating this card, essentially it's a little microchip that we can link to the blockchain. It's offline, but connected to the chain online. Not only is it in our card, but we can use this on anything. We can create a little digital tag. So once you tag something with this thing, now essentially it becomes an NFT on the blockchain. Again, this is a holy grail, no one has got this yet. The method to connect a physical object to the blockchain. That's the big trouble with NFTs, for example. You can create your artwork on NFT. Digital artwork, fine, but say I paint a picture, now I've got to photograph it, and then I've got to put it onto the NFT, and then people have got to believe me. When they buy that NFT, they've got to trust that, yeah, I will send them that artwork. How do I know that physical thing is connected to that blockchain? We've got a separation between the computer and the real world. Now we have a connection, and it's a high-level cryptographic connection. So you can attach ENTIFY tags to any asset, car, gold, etc. They're all cryptographically secured, and ownership is absolute. The best example I can explain is a car. So the car, if you imagine in the electronics of the car, you've got this chip. So the car now has become an NFT. That means one owner has got the car. The car exists on the blockchain. So if I'm the owner of the NFT, I've got my smartphone, I have to come up to the car, use the smartphone to open it, and drive it. Now only I would be able to operate the car, no one else can, because I've got the NFT and the key. So no one can steal it. If you wanted to steal the car, for example, you'd have to rip out all the electronics and rebuild it, and it's not worth it. And even, for example, a relay attack. So in a car, you know, people go around scanning for your frequencies. When they find your frequency, they open the car, drive off. Even that would not work, because it's a two-way communication. The car knows who owns it. So I will go to the car, and the car will ask me, are you my owner? So it asks you the question, please give me the private key. Then I give the private key back. It's all done on the phone. And only I would have the key, then the car works. So if I come to buy or sell the car, the only way for me to sell the car is I have to transfer ownership. I will scan the car. Then either you could pay with crypto, but you could still pay any way you like. Maybe they give me gold. Then I have to transfer ownership, and the new owner has to scan the car with their phone to confirm the deal. So the physical asset has actually changed hands, and there's been some connection to it. And there's no other way of cheating this. So it means you don't need any other bookwork now about the car. You could buy a car online, walk up to it and just open it and drive off, because it's all done on the blockchain together with these digital tags. It will change everything. Now again, it might seem hard to believe, but I've got an idea. I'll just run this one quickly by you so you can see the reality of this. There's a British company that makes e-bikes, kind of cool electric bikes, like retro. So they're high quality. But if I could explain this to them, we could make one bike. And if we know that bike is, say, it runs on the ENTIFY network, call it the ENTI-bike. So everyone knows the only way to buy or sell that bike is with the ENTIFY system. So there's no point stealing it anyway, because there's no way of operating it without the blockchain. Now we could create straight away the first unstealable bike. Because you have to use this system. You use your phone to access it, drive it, or buy and sell it. If someone comes to steal it, there's no way of operating the bike, again, without ripping out the electronics, destroying it. So the only way to steal it was to steal someone's phone, but if you steal their phone and their card, and that guy reports it, well, we now know that card was stolen, and it will go back to whoever stole it, because they have to register ownership of it on their card, on the system. It will go back to them. It's quite literal. It's the end of theft when this starts working. Now, okay, the next level of this, again, I'm saying this is a big, big vision, but because we can tag real assets, we can actually now create a whole new financial system. Go back to the old days when money was backed by gold, something real. So, for example, you had a pound of gold is worth, let's say, $10,000. So the bank must have that pound of gold They must keep it in storage for that $10,000. Cannot be any more. So that gold cannot move anywhere, cannot get rid of that gold, otherwise those dollars are invalid. And now we could do this, because we can actually take a lump of gold, tag it. Now that gold will be logged onto the blockchain. It's part of the ecosystem. So you could still have that in a vault, but now there's no way of cheating. There's no way of cheating. The gold is all verified and tagged, and you could even take it home. There'd be a way of having the gold encased in a tamper-proof way, so you can buy gold, keep it at your house, but that gold would now be used to create some tokens that you can use on the ecosystem. So now we're not creating a crypto, so to speak, the funny money. We're creating money by real asset. So if you want to buy in, you get gold, then you use the gold, which you must keep, and the blockchain knows that's your gold, and it will know if you cheat, sell the gold, or break the thing. So now you can have some tokens based by that gold. So you're actually now creating a money based on something real. It's not crypto anymore. Of course, we're using the blockchain technology, but we're using a real asset. You could even have your house. Essentially, you'd be able to remortgage your house into the system. For example, if you own your house, the house is worth, I don't know, let's say 1 million. If this is verified, again, this system is for real users, people have to verify this, but yes, your house is worth 1 million, so you'll be able to create 1 million tokens in the blockchain based on your house, and then spend them. That's your money. It's not a loan, you've literally created the money. See, really, when you go to the bank, they were not supposed to lend you the money. If you go back to the beginning, right, the bank was supposed to create money on gold. We said that. But where did the bank get the gold from? Where did the bank get the gold from in the first place? It was our gold. We deposited the gold in the bank. That was our gold. We gave them the gold, and then the bank created money. So then the question is, should they have given that money to us or lent that money to us? It should have given it to us. You see, we're supposed to be able to do this ourselves. I could do this myself. If I had a lump of gold, I could say, I've got 1 kilo of gold, and I could write 1,000 pieces of paper saying, this is 1/1000th of my gold. And I go and spend them. The trouble is, you won't believe me. I have to also write on there, plus I promise never to get rid of the gold as long as these pieces of paper are in circulation. So if I get all the pieces of paper back, then I could get rid of the gold. So you have to realize, you see, if you took a lump of gold and converted it into gold coins, now it's gone. You can see, spend the gold coins. If you create it into paper notes, the gold is still there. Now you've got a chance to cheat. So that's how the banks have cheated. First of all, they lent it to us. It means we gave them the gold. They claimed ownership of it. We didn't even realize that. We gave our money to the bank, and then they lent it back to us with interest. It's a con, a whole big con.
And that's theft as well, isn't it?
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah, this is, when you look at this, it's just, when you understand the law and the legal, 99 out of 100 times, the legal is actually breaking the law. So that's why they can't call it law. Why have we got legal? It's just law. What's legal? Oh, it's not law. Because they know it's not law. If they call it law, well, they're breaking that. Legal, we do what we like. So the point being is, now we can actually do this for ourselves. We can create our own money based on our own assets. And there's a lot we can do with that. So here we go. The end result of this would be a zero fraud ecosystem. Ultimately, this is the end of crime. I told you it's a big vision. But the technology is there. It's going to take me months and months to really go through this and prove why this is so. But you'll have no bots, no hackers, no fake identities. For real intelligence, not artificial intelligence, no AI can get into this and control it. Remember, the blockchain is now controlled by the cards that we hold. That card is like a signature. So for example, even if you wanted to have a vote, so you wanted to vote for something, now we don't know what we're voting for, you touch your card, that would be a vote, that is equivalent to a signature. You could have a jury, for example, if there was a complaint within the system, Yeah, so you have a complaint within the system, you could launch a complaint, but rather than having a system of law, we're relying on a fraudulent judge and a fraudulent court, the blockchain will just go to random users. It will just select 12 people, say, on your card, would you like to be jury for this investigation? You can say yes or no. and you might get a slight payment for being the jury member. Then you have to investigate whatever's being complained about, and a real person has to make a judgment. So you have a vote. So the whole thing is self-governing, self-healing, and unstoppable. It's really just, it's not technology that uses us, it's technology that we use. If you go back to the old ways, law is just us, we're really just shaking hands. A contract is looking in your eyes, shake hands, or signature. So, yes.
Sorry, I do have a couple of questions. Like,
Yeah.
so for it to work, like, would everyone have to be on that? Because you're talking about like the end of crime and stuff. And for me, like, my head goes, well, kidnapping is going to go up because if like they're going to need the person to like use the card to take the money.
Yeah.
Like my head's going like.
Yeah, okay, we've got to go back a step. Let's go back, like the car. The reason it's pointless and why no criminal would join is because what do you do with it when you've stolen it? You see, you could still, okay, let's say gold, fair enough. Gold is a lump of metal and we could encase that with a chip on it. So as long as it stays encased, it's in the network. But fair enough, if you break that, take the chip off, take the gold, now that's a thing, you melt it down. So it's out of the system. This will only work when you stay in the system. But say like a car that is actually built into the system, you cannot do anything with the car outside the system. It's pointless to steal it. What would you do with it? If you steal it in the system, you've got to transfer it to your ownership in the system. Now that's perfectly traceable. It just goes to your card. Well, you stole it.
But would everyone in the world have to be on this system for this system to work?
Good question. No, it's like a private club. Put it this way: it's a private club. I'm thinking of this like the sovereign network. So everyone who wants to do honest business and trust everyone. See, that's what Carl is talking about—a business network. Really, it's sovereign people. Why do they want to do business honestly? That's what it boils down to. We want to get out of the system where we're paying protection money. It's like a protection racket. I don't want to pay that money. I just want to earn my money and do honest business with people. So anyone who wants to do business honestly, we can do that with gold. We can go back to gold if you want. But this is a method we can do international business with perfect security. So we know within this network we can trust everyone. So for example, you have your smartphone on the radio mesh. You know on this system, whoever talks to me, I can trust. You go back to your Google phone, you don't know. That could be AI talking to you. Could be a fake account, a fake scammer. This one, at least you know that's perfectly safe. See, for example, you get these scams now where like your daughter or your son calls you up, I need money, but it's just an AI voice. You could say, well, hang on, call me on the ENTIFY network, but they can't do it. Or touch your card. Only that one person would have that one card. You can't do it, it's not you. So it's a private network that in its own right is so perfectly secure. And that's right, certain assets are impossible to take out, but things like gold, yes, you can break the seal, get it out, so you have to look after that. But the way I imagine it, you still might have a vault for gold, keeping it safe, but in that vault, everyone knows that's my block of gold. No one can mess around, it cannot be taken, tampered with, we will all know. You'll get a notification, your gold is gone. What? What happened? So it won't happen.
Sorry, can I ask you just something? What's to stop me coming to you and holding a gun to your head?
Yeah.
And saying, put your card in, you're going to take me to Scotland.
Yeah.
What's going to stop that sort of thing?
What do you mean take it to? Well, again, like I said, there's still a code. You could still have, there's a code you have to put in. So you could do certain layers to this. Either you never tell them the code, or you can have a little code that just gets.
Yeah, but
okay.
what I'm saying to
You've got a
you,
gun to your head, you're going to tell them.
I'm saying to you is
Yeah.
touch your card on the car,
Yeah.
drive me to Scotland, or I'm going to blow your brains out.
Good question. Yeah, okay, no, that's right, okay, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that, that's right, but that's the same as any car hijacking, yeah, that's right. Now, there still may be, but this system is so much can be done with this. You can put in fail-safes, so you could have some sort of fail-safe system set up that you press one or two buttons and the thing cuts out. You could have such a thing, that emergency, now the car stopped working. So only you'll be able to restart the car now. You have to go back, get your card, and do something else to restart the car.
Or you could just say like blow my brains out because what are you gonna do? Because without
Yeah, that's
me, you
right.
can't- So then it's like
Yeah.
it's just calling someone's bluff, isn't it? Because if you blow my brains out,
Then you can't go anywhere anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in theory, that's right. Once you're in the car, yeah. I mean, okay. Let's put it this way: we spent 3 years going through every single eventuality, and the system is powerful enough that there is a way around all of these things. It's just going to take me time to go through every stage and explain how it can be done. The basic principle is, because the card is separate from online, that is the bridge that gives the security that no one else has got. It's just like a hacker could go into your account. If your car was online, for example, well, a hacker could get in and drive your car. I mean, that can already happen now. They can hack your car and drive it. So that could not happen. Sorry, yeah, you were going to ask me.
Can I just ask, if you was to have an ENTIFY card and
Yeah.
you had your car on ENTIFY, and you
Yes.
wanted to sell your car to somebody that didn't have ENTIFY, how
Yes.
would that work?
Okay, now we're talking about going in and out of the system.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So again, well, that can be fine. You just have to acknowledge the car is leaving the system.
Yeah.
So that's fine. You can still do that if you want
So
to.
you're more beneficial sending it to somebody that's in the system? rather
Yes,
than
that's right.
Because of the...
Like for example, okay. Again, the thing about this card. Let me go back another step. This card, the card at the moment is extremely long-lasting. So this is actually can be your estate. You can have your whole estate on here. You can put your next of kin, pass it down to your children. All be done on the blockchain. It's literally like, in the old days, law was these bits of paper signed and then kept somewhere. So that's now a special place for those documents. They've got to look after them. This can all be done on your card on the blockchain, but it's even more secure than a bit of paper and a signature. And the card we're looking at now also is a chip. If we can do a solid state chip, imagine the card could last 10,000 years. So even if you tag an object, it's 10,000 years, the tag is going to last. So a long, long time this goes down the line.
Can I just also ask, if you lose the card,
Yes.
what do you do?
Yeah, there needs to be a protocol for getting a second card. You're going to have accidents, you might lose the card, break the card. There will be a protocol. So for example, you can have next of kin. I'm also debating the idea, in time you might have to verify yourself. For example, once you get the card, it's not automatic. You need to go and see someone else with a card, and they've got to witness you, activate your card, and then they touch your card to confirm, yes, that was a real living person did their card. So then if you lose your card, you go back to the same person that verified you to confirm, yes, that's the same person, and yes, they did lose the card. Or you could have your next of kin. There's certain ways. You need verification from other people to touch their card so that you can get in once you've lost your card. And there'll be other ways as well, because the blockchain will know certain things that we don't know. For example, it's a communication network. You will have a chat going on. So even you'll be able to verify yourself by looking at your chat history. So they can go and check, no, I've been talking to XYZ. That verifies it's me, and the blockchain will know XYZ is on there. Yes, okay, plus verification of another person. Now we can issue a replacement card. Now the important thing is there's no cloning of the card. You can't have a second card. So when you have a new card, it will be a new key, a new NFT. And all that happens. The old card essentially now is deactivated. So if someone's stolen your card and you report it, immediately it's useless. And a new one is created, but connected to the old one, so you don't lose your trail of ownership of assets. It's still connected. So that way, every key is new. There's no way of going back, having a second card, nothing like that. This can happen. Okay, now we're getting close to reality, what we actually could do. So there's three things. First thing is we're going to build an app. So this is a chat network. So like WhatsApp, Telegram, but this will be already the most private, secure, and decentralized chat network so far. It's just all by itself. So that will be free, and I'm hoping next year. But it's a big deal. Nicholas is the guy creating this, and for those of you who know about decentralized chat, it's built on Reticulum, which is probably the leading system program for decentralized chat. But Nicholas is probably now the #1 developer in Reticulum, pushing it up to the next level. So we will have this ENTIFY chat network, so we can guarantee the most private, decentralized chat so far. No one can get the data, nothing will happen. No one to chase down, like Telegram, they chased him down. There's no one to chase down because it's decentralized. No one's got the data. So that's the first thing. The second thing we'll release is the NFT card a bit later. So this card, then again, you'll have to buy it. We're hoping around about $100 or so to buy this card, keep it as reasonable as possible. But the immediate use of that is your crypto wallet. So again, you can have some crypto on there. So that could, if you want crypto, and what we're planning to do is you can have Bitcoin on there and maybe have, say, 5 different cryptos. We'll make a selection. We're going to do a big research and work out maybe 5 cryptos that we believe are quite good. So for newcomers who don't know crypto, don't know what to invest in, we can say, look, just buy a little bit of those and leave it on your card. That's something. So that could be your crypto wallet. That'll be the most private and secure crypto wallet so far. And that will now also take the network up to the next level of privacy. So for example, on your chat, so once you've got the decentralized chat, you'll have a profile on there. But once you've got the card, you'll have a check mark saying, okay, now you've got a card. Now that guarantees you're a real person. So it takes it up to the next level. And in the third level is we're going to release the ENTIFY. So this is the hardware. So this is actual smartphone itself. Now it gets exciting. And if you think about it, this system, this blockchain system, is to secure your assets, real things like a car. Well, the phone is the first asset. So the phone itself will be an NFT that you own outright. So that will be your first asset connected to your car, the phone, the card rather. And this phone will have the radio mesh capability. So built into the phone is a little chip that allows this free calls. So you have free calls, and on the radio mesh, in time, we can build a new internet. So we'll also have a router. So you can plug your router into a computer. So now we've got immediately emails or anything connected through the radio mesh. It doesn't require the internet or a SIM card, completely independent. So for example, it's radio. So you imagine your laptop, inside the laptop is the router already built. All you have to do is plug your laptop into an aerial on the roof. It goes back like that. So you have a big area on the roof, plug it in, now you've got connection over a long distance. So, but completely free. So your phone, that's coming out soon. Now, saying that, we're actually already here. Yeah, so this is the ENTIFY. Well, this is not actually quite the ENTIFY. This is a company called Vodafone, a German phone company. So these are the guys we're working with. They're going to build our ENTIFY. But this, so the ENTIFY is going to be the gateway to the network. So again, this is the way in, chat, the internet, ownership. But you need the card, so you've got to prove, one user, one phone. Privacy smartphone, radio mesh connectivity, free from backdoors, and no data harvesting. So this is the most private, safe, secure phone that you'll be able to get. But the Vodafone, this is the Vodafone here, I'll show you, I've got one in a minute, I'll go around and show you. They've already done this. This phone is already, I would say, the most private, safe, secure phone so far. All built in Germany, from the ground up, every single component. They built the software from the ground up, the software. They built the software from the ground up, so there's no Google, nothing on there at all. And they've got 2 operating systems. One is Linux, so that's a bit more advanced, and one is Android, which we know, but it's their own Android. So they've rebuilt Android from scratch. It's Android compatible, so we know it's safe. And this Vodafone, you can already buy now if you like it. Now the only thing I need next, so this phone is, I would say, the #1 privacy phone in the world today. It's not yet the ENTIFY. The ENTIFY is going to take maybe 1 or 2 years still to get the radio mesh in it, but these are the guys going to build it. So this phone, we still need a SIM card. So that's the trouble. We got the phone, there's no backdoors, but you need a SIM card. SIM card is a whole other problem. Because there's only two or three companies that own the whole network. So you've got all these different SIM cards. They're essentially buying airtime off these 1 or 2 companies, and then your name and address is connected to the SIM card. It's not really private. So we need a method of getting a SIM card anonymously. Now, once I've got that, then we've got a privacy phone with a privacy SIM card that we can have pretty much straight away. So that's already an approximation to this whole system. Then, if you download the ENTIFY app, this decentralized chat, again, that hopefully next year, we've got an approximate system. So we can now say we've got a weapon of privacy, an unstoppable phone, no one can track it, once I get a SIM card. Now, there is one company I've got to work, I'm looking into, that you can buy SIM cards anonymously for Bitcoin. So every other one, you still got a name and address, there's some traceability to you, and they can trace you through even your voice on the SIM card. But if you can do this through Bitcoin, you get an anonymous, they buy a lot of time, and then they can sell you these SIM cards anonymously, and then there's no traceability. Now you've got an untouchable phone. So it's not far to have an approximation of this whole system. But to actually build the system, it will take some time.
What level of investment have you got in this already? Have people putting into this?
None. No, I'm being very clever. This is all done in a sovereign way. Again, I'm not even asking for money. I don't like doing that. Because this is crypto, there's so many crypto scams. And this is why I like Vodafone. Vodafone, again, we knew we needed a phone 3 years ago. But when we found Vodafone, I love these guys. They don't even take corporate money. They won't take any venture capital investment. They do crowdfunding. They build it for the people, and then they provide the product and you buy it. So essentially, what I would do is just take pre-orders. When we're ready, then we take pre-orders. That guarantees you're going to get the product. So you're not giving me an investment. You're buying something just in advance. So there's no minimum risk of any kind of scamming. This has got to be built like this from the beginning, the ground up. It's got to be sovereign, honest, the real deal. I want to tell you a little bit more about the future of this, because now you can see what we can do. There's a lot. I've got a few projects working with together. So the first one, there's me. Doesn't want to let me talk about myself. So here's me, Toby Jacobs, the founder. So I'm a physicist, an artist, a martial artist, and a freedom advocate. And then Nicholas Quinn, he's the inventor. So he's the expert in secure systems and decentralized networks. He's the real genius behind it. But I'm the one that when I met Nicholas, when I saw what he invented, I clicked immediately. I realized and that's the first thing I said to him. I had to meet him. I said, do you know what you invented? You do realise you've solved one of the biggest problems in blockchain to date. But he did know. But there's so much can be done with this. So we've got this work. Let's try this side. So the Sovereign Project, of course, they're number one. Then there's another one, Living Nation, is another project similar in Sweden. Liberland is another one. Oh. But you see, these...
Turn close.
You're too far.
Yeah, all right, let's go back here. Yeah. So these are freedom movements. And New Earth Tribe Hubs. This is one I want to tell you about because I find this one so exciting. This is their logo. They basically got land, in South America, and they're looking for land around the place to create these beautiful communities, for want of a better word, living in nature, in harmony, growing things, self-sustaining. So you can create all these new types of ways of living, but you could be totally autonomous. This system you could run in nature. You could have an ENTIFY communication, all have the phone, you're just in the forest. It will work up to a certain distance. Once you know the boundaries, you won't need any infrastructure. If you wanted to connect to the outside,
Throw it across the room.
You might just need one bridge to the internet, but in time you wouldn't even need this. It means they can have free communication within their system. So it offers a lot of potential, and it allows us to connect sovereign movements around the world. So the trouble is we're all fragmented. In the world today, the centralized system, the state, the globalists, these guys are quite focused. They've got one purpose, they know what they're doing, and they're on track. And they've been doing it for hundreds of years. Hundreds of years.
We hear you.
The globalists. Come here, look. But the sovereign movement, we're all individuals. We're a bit fragmented. So we've got different groups, and there's often disagreements. So we're not united enough to have any chance to do something. As Carl was saying, you've got to do it in large numbers, have a plan. So this network could be a chance to link all the sovereign movements together, because they can all use this. They'll all want to use it. Again, I'm saying this myself, but it is simply the best system. It is simply the best system I've ever seen. And I've looked. I've actually looked. I've looked at what everyone else is doing, and I keep looking. But every day I wake up and think about this, and I think, can't be true. Yes, it is true. It is really the best system. So I'm not even worried about it. When people see this and understand it, then they'll realise, okay, we can join this system, and whatever networks they're using, they can upgrade to this. So it would suddenly unite everyone, and it means on the ENTIFY app, we know that's the sovereign app. We send a message, and it goes to everyone. All the sovereign movements around the world know what to do. Let's get ready. Send our paperwork in to do whatever disruption we're going to do. So it's a method to unite all the sovereign movements together, and that we can do quite quickly. Like I said, you can buy the Volophone, and once I find a SIM card, you can buy the SIM card. There'll be two things, but you have the ENTIFY chat. You don't even need to buy anything. Download it into your existing phone for free. WhatsApp, Telegram, similar thing. It's just up another level. So even Telegram, they chased that guy, didn't they? Want his data. Yeah. But this one, they have no one to chase. Who are they going to chase? They might chase me. I don't know. I've got no data on it. I'm just a user. We're all equal. This is the thing about it. Even though I'm the founder, I'll have a card with my signature. I'll be no more or less than anyone else. No one is. It's really perfect democracy, if you want to use that word, and perfect decentralisation. We're all individual.
Totally. Earlier you said that if part was stolen, then you could say that, well, I spoke to that person or that person before, and it would know that you're essentially verifying your identity. So that data is being kept, isn't it?
The blockchain knows. The NFT.
What's to stop the powers that be getting that information? If the blockchain.
Because the only way, okay, your NFT is on the blockchain, so that is on chain. Okay, good question. But the only way to access that NFT is with the card. Is with the card. There literally is not a way of typing the key in. It requires a physical action. So there is no way of hacking it. The blockchain knows a card must be touched, and it must be that one particular card which that key is on. So if I take that key off and say I could put it on another card, it still wouldn't work, because it must be connected to that one physical card in your hand. There's no way in without touching the card to the thing. And don't forget now, you have a phone. So in reality, your phone will also be like your card. So when we get to it, your phone is more useful than a card. So you'll keep your card safe at home. You'll keep that safe. I mean, remember now, this is worth money. It's important. Keep it locked away in a safe. But you've got your phone. So now if you lose your phone, stole your phone, no worries. You buy a new phone, take your card from your safe, touch it to your phone. Now that phone is registered to your name again. That's your NFT again. Now you use your new phone. So there's and we might even do a thing where when you start the system, you get two cards. So one backup card you store somewhere very safe, one you might use, and plus you've got the phone. There's layers to this we could have. But I mean, I kid you not, it is going back to the old ways. That's the trouble is now. That's why the digital IDs are working. They're selling you convenience. There's no convenience here. You've got to hold the thing, you've got to be responsible. That's like the old days, you've got to sign. I don't want to sign, I press the button. No, you don't want to sign because you don't want to understand. Now you've given away everything. So you have to go back to that. It's a sovereign card, self-sovereign. I used to call it self-sovereign card. Because you are the only one who can do anything with it. And you can do more, you see. Again, I digress slightly. But imagine the document you put on there. It's a lawful document of your identity. You could write this document in quantum grammar. I don't know, have you heard of quantum grammar? All right, this is fascinating. This is a language built on mathematics and words designed for contracts. It's a perfect language that has only one meaning. It's like binary code. you know, in computer code, you have no choice. If you write in English, people can look at a contract and say, well, what does that mean? What does that mean? You can dispute it, and you can change it. You write it in quantum grammar, there's only one meaning, indisputable in law, and then you sign that. And then that contract is on an NFT card, which you hold. The fact that you hold the card and touch it proves you are alive, because only a living person can do it. That validates your document of life, written in quantum grammar, goes on the blockchain. It is the most perfect lawful authentication you could possibly have. So no one, once that is there, now the next game has to be recognised. They still won't recognise it, but they have to. There's nothing, you know, their one is you know, it's like monopoly money. It's children's games compared to this. It's the real deal.
Sorry, I'm a bit ignorant, but NFT, can you say that?
Oh yeah, NFT, non-fungible token.
Right.
It's a singular digital item. So on a blockchain, you usually got your crypto money. That's all the same. It's fungible, so that's interchangeable. An NFT, non-fungible, is unique. So that's like an individual asset, and I can pass it to you, to you, to you. It always stays unique. But say Bitcoin, some to you, some to you. It doesn't matter what Bitcoin it is. It's all the same. So NFT allows you to have a unique item. So it has to be an NFT. Again, this is built on technology. So blockchain was created, that was amazing. Then we had NFTs created, that's the next thing. Now we're at the next level where we can take an NFT and take it offline into the real world. Again, I kid you not, this is so big. It's too hard for people to believe. I've talked to thousands of people, but it will change the game. This is like, when Bitcoin came out, everyone was amazed. This is the next thing like Bitcoin coming out. You guys are the first to hear of this. I mean, I don't know how I'm explaining it, but I'll get better. I'll get better explain. This is me. Okay, let me tell you about me. This is my YouTube channel. You can find it on the ENTIFY website, but the reason I put this up is because I talk about this project. So my channel there are videos about ENTIFY. I talk about the sovereign knowledge. I talk about my philosophies, alternative science. That's where some of you may or may not agree with me, but that's aside. And I do my internal energy training. But I have a whole playlist on ENTIFY, and I'm going to keep adding more and more videos to that because there's so much to explain. And like you see, there's so many questions about it. What would happen this? What would happen that? But if you think about it in stages, the first thing we've got is a private chat, which we've never had before. The second thing we've got, again round the corner, is a privacy phone and a privacy SIM card with a privacy chat. We've never had that before. No one can trace you, track you. And then finally, when we have the NFT card and the ENTIphone, we'll have all this, plus we'll have free calls and free internet. That brings me back to the blockchain. The blockchain will not run on the internet. At the moment, all blockchains are on the existing internet. So that is those are the servers that they've already got. We will have a radio mesh. It's a different connection. So we will only run ENTIFY blockchain on the radio mesh. It means you cannot access ENTIFY blockchain from the internet anyway. This is the final key. Yeah, you can only access it from the radio mesh. It means my phone has got a backup, your phone has got a backup, our two phones are linked through the radio mesh. If we do a transaction, that transaction is registered between us, and then it will filter out through all the other people on the radio mesh. But it will not register on the internet. The internet knows nothing about it.
So if you don't have this phone, you won't be able to communicate with
Correct.
people.
This is the big one. This is the big one. Really, when we create this system, in the end result, is it has to be a self-contained system on the radio mesh only. Then it is perfect and watertight. The big trouble of the internet is too open. There's too many openings.
So it will only operate with a certain level of adoption because you've got distance
Yes.
with radio.
Correct. But I mean, the beauty is it will still operate with 10 people.
As long as they're close together.
Yeah, well, we did the calculation. I've forgotten the numbers now, but I think even 50 to 100 phones in London pretty much covered London. Routers will have bigger, so maybe 5 routers will cover London. But say me and Carl, he's probably too far to communicate in London. But if I had an aerial on the top of my house, all we need is a booster aerial, goes longer. It goes back to the old-fashioned ways.
Yeah.
And as it builds up, then we have a job. But now again, let's go back another step. The ENTIFY will have a SIM card and a radio mesh, because of what you're saying. In reality, the radio mesh will take time to spread, but we don't want to lose connectivity. It means when the radio mesh is not present, then the phone will jump to the SIM card.
Yeah.
SIM card will jump to the next person. When he can go back onto the radio mesh, he'll go back onto the radio mesh. So to all intents and purposes, it'll be seamless to you. You'll just be using a phone, but now you don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We can go to another level where your phone is even untrackable. Cannot even track you. You know, you could triangulate a mobile phone. No. Nicholas is a clever guy. We can make this, we can really get back total privacy. And don't forget, they might say, well, why are you private? What have you got to hide? That's what they say. If you've got nothing to hide, don't worry about it. But do you realise these guys watching us, they're all private. We have CBDCs that they can all see and do what they like. Do you realise these guys will have what is called wholesale CBDCs? So they'll have money at another level, guess what? Private. So they know their own privacy. So I'll say, no, I've got nothing to hide. I'm not worried about me, I'm worried about you. Are you breaking the law watching me? What are you doing? Who's watching the watchers? The only way to beat them is go back private. No, you're not letting me watch you. Well, you're not watching me. And on the system, everyone is watching each other. The blockchain is watching. It's still private. No one can see your assets on your card, but the blockchain will know. But no one can get into the blockchain. No one can get into that NFT except the card holder.
Toby, sorry, I just missed a bit then. So
Yeah.
you were saying at the beginning it will have a SIM card and radio mesh, so there will be a like a transfer.
Correct.
So you'll
Hybrid.
still be able to have the phone and contact all your mates that ain't got it.
Yeah.
And as eventually, as everyone or more people pick it up, it will just
Yes.
naturally and seamlessly, automatically just.
Correct.
So if there's another one that's on the mesh, it will just use the mesh. If it isn't
Correct.
on the mesh, it will use the SIM card.
Exactly right.
That's brilliant.
Exactly right. Now again, once you realise the blockchain, okay, this is the next level of genius. Well, this is my genius. This is the way I. Once you realise the blockchain has got the the radio mesh has got the blockchain. It means every phone is a node on the blockchain. The blockchain only needs to operate phone to phone. So there's another big trouble with the blockchain. It has to go through verification, through the whole internet, before you verify a transfer. On this system, phone to phone, it'll be instantaneous. If the transfer only happens between me and you, we're the only two that need to know about it. No one else needs to know about it. So it can happen to us instantly, and then that filters out through the rest of the blockchain over time. We can create a blockchain that is so fast, so scalable, that we just won't notice it. It'd just be like whatever we use. And again, I'll show you the phone in a minute now. Let me just finish this. What's next?
There's only 2 SIM cards.
Oh, that's the end. Huh?
Not find developers that can make them.
Well, again, I've had a long chat with Nicholas. It's too difficult to. SIM card is centralised, it's monopoly. There's 2 companies that own the whole network. The only way to get time is to buy it from them. So companies buy time from those networks and then sell the SIM card. But then you have to, mostly it's still your name and address, and it still goes back. It's not worth the hassle. It's not worth the hassle because it's not the SIM card. It's the network that we need. We need the infrastructure. They own the networks. See, you've got eSIM. There's another one, electronic SIM, but you still have to buy it from the network. The only one, like I said, I'm looking into it. So that's my next job. It means the phone is here. Let me show you the phone. This is a Volaphone. So again, you look, it's a brilliant smartphone. Think of it as the, like a operation of an iPhone, but it's so intuitive. They've got this little button here, so it's called the springboard. It's a shortcut. It's a simple phone. It goes back to intuitive using. Again, I've been debating this for years. Should I talk about it? How do I do this? I'll put myself on the line now telling everyone. But I think the point is they won't, it's useless to them because they're not interested in a system of independence. And it now exists. So how are they going to shut it down? They might shut me down, but the chip now that it's done, someone else will do it. Shut him down. So it's mathematics. Yeah, That's why it's perfect. A blockchain is mathematics. Once you get it right, it's done. The cryptography between the card and the blockchain is mathematics. It's now proven. It's done. The cat is out of the bag. We've literally beaten them. But it's just step by step now. What do we do? Yeah. All right. Let's call it a day. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Check out the website is ENTIFY.world. When you check out the website, there's videos, AI explainer, much more detail on the website, and you can get me through that, email me through the website if you need. And you'll find my YouTube if you want to watch it.